Look at this loser's club found the first mark to paid in his chest. He stood up, blocking the neon script with his body. We found it first, Troy, and we are not going anywhere. Ember the rub is a firmaria, and we're not going anywhere. The clock that never strikes the hour hides the secret of the power bears. Their shins were crisscrossed with scratches and their lungs burned. The iron giant loomed above them, a massive, rusted tripod of steel that seemed to groan in the evening breeze. The riddle said, beneath the rusted heel. Maya said, checking her compass. She pointed toward the massive concrete footings that anchored the tower. We need to check the north pillar. It is a clock, but it is silent, returning to the shadows just as Troy reached the water tower. Aving, Sam whispered, her eyes darting toward the garden gates. The friends huffed as they reached the central plaza, where the great granite sundial stood like an altar. The air here was sweet with the scent of blooming jasmine and damp earth. We have to be fast, Maya whispered, her eyes darting toward the garden gates. They saw which way we went. They will be here any minute. Lair shone his UV light on the gnomon of the sundial. The shadow it cast pointed toward the Roman numeral 10, even though it was merely midnight. There, etched into the stone, was the next clue. It was not a riddle this time, but a map of the sky. It is a map of the neighborhood streets from above. Look, this big dot is the park, and these enterprises, they have culture, boy, eyes, basically. But their victory was short-lived. A heavy hand dropped onto Leo's shoulder. He spun around to see Troy Miller, but the older boy didn't look smug anymore. He looked terrified. Behind him his friends were huddled together, looking back at the school building. "You can have it," Troy stammered, his voice shaking in the wire. The courtyard was overgrown with weeds that reached their waists. As they reached the flagpole, they saw that the ground had already been disturbed. A shallow hole had been started, but they didn't finish, casting long, dancing shadows across the courtyard. Leo held the heavy metal cylinder, feeling its vibration humming through the casing. "We have to open it," Leo insisted. "The riddles, the map, it all led here for a reason. Troy, give me your pocket knife." Troy, his bravado completely handed over a small folding knife with trembling fingers. Suddenly, the entire facade of the abandoned school lit up. A hidden projections his bearing to Teomals. "Same time next year?" Sam asked as they reached Leo's driveway. The two groups of kids sat together on the school steps, the contents of the time capsule spread out between them. The tension that had defined their summer had evaporated, replaced by a quiet, weary respect. "So, what do we do with all